Well, I lied. We're not actually going to the conservatory. First, we're going to check out the outsider shrine. This place is very trapped. Supposedly by the howlers, I suppose, because all of these traps have howler bolts in them. So, if you need any more, there's plenty to be found here. Howler bolts are quite useful in general if you are less sneaky and you actually engage in more combat. They blind things when you shoot them. It's quite handy. Again, I mentioned this before, but since we're playing super stealthy and sneaking around, we rarely engage in open combat, so you don't get to use them that much. Although they are useful if you just want to take someone to blind them from afar. Can't see you, can't find you.
Look at you, making your way across this shuddering city. Brianna Ashworth would have been miserable as a member of high society, forced to wed some bloated banker. Her only moments of real freedom, getting drunk at fancy balls, and slipping away to couple with strangers. It would have ended in an unhappy marriage and a late-night plunge into an icy river. But just before Mother and Father married her off, so many years ago, she found Delilah instead. It was all highways and graveyards after that, never looking back. Vice Overseer Byrne is an ambitious man, but he believes in the Abbey's mission, protecting the good people of the Empire against the likes of us. You know he'd be happier deep down if this ended with Brianna Ashworth's head on a spike. Maybe yours as well.
With these two runes, we're going to upgrade Bend Time. There's a few options from all the other stuff, but right now I want to extend the time we actually spend when we stop time.
People of Karnaka, this is the Duke. Some of you have questioned the stricter mining new taxes levied by the Grand Circoning Guard. Let me answer all of this rabble-rousing at once. Disloyalty and sedition will not be tolerated. Look at Duncan Band, good friend. He's a patriot. A man who won't stop until he has turned every bit of this land of silver into shiny coins. I asked double the number of mine workers. And he did it. No complaints. Karnaka needed miners, and he produced them out of thin air. That's the Circonian spirit. That's what we need.
The Duke and his proclamations can't be particularly good for the morale of the Circonian people. We're here to do something about that, though. This little tower can cause a lot of problems, and as you might have seen in the High Chaos playthrough, it's quite funny if you rewire it to have it start shooting on other people. It eventually runs out of energy with whale oil, but if you can find another whale oil tank, you can keep that thing alive for quite a while and end up shooting quite a lot of people. Now to actually go inside the conservatory. This window entrance is one of the best. All you can see down here, there is a gravehound. The skull sort of animates to life and the actual hound appears. They are difficult to deal with, and obviously the plan is to not deal with them at all. Luckily there's no one in this room, so they don't hear us moving in. This is the Briarwood, the Bloodbriar maybe, something like that. Bloodbriar, I think. It is blind, but it can hear, and it can sense movement. So you need to be careful when you're moving close to it. We are sort of blinking above it and stuff, of course, so it shouldn't be too much issue. There's one right here as well. They can be quite difficult to fight, so you want to avoid them if you can.
For I am Delilah, your queen. The moon in the sky and the mist.
Dear, if Brianna hears you and her mood is off, you're going to lose an eye making fun like that.
She's only having fun, Francesca. And Brianna's too busy with the communion to be bothered. She's got her mind on the Sisters of the Oracular Order.
Yes, Because otherwise, the Abbey will see us all blackened by fire. Now stop with this nonsense.
There is a lot of fun conversations you can overhear as you sneak around the conservatory and listen to the witches chat. These are the Witches of Brigmore, which is, well, Delilah's coven, basically. We interacted with them first in the DLC for Dishonored 1.
Conservatory. Built around the time I left for Dunwall.
This is the first time Corvo or Emily runs into them, of course. They have power.
To Jindosh. I'm told he's a gibbering idiot now.
I don't know, Delilah. Forgive me.
No, my dear. It's a loss. But I doubt he had anything more to give us.
Sokolov was taken away as well.
Who would want that ancient fool? Never mind. How goes the communion? I am hungry to whisper into the ears of the oracular sisters.
My influence grows. Last night, I walked through a dream with one of them, and we drank from a fountain in the town where she was born.
Vice Overseer Burns' suspicions were right.
Business with Jindosh won't affect things.
No. He continued to tinker with the lenses, thicker, thinner, more opaque. It was tiresome to watch. I still have the old lenses and cast-off parts piled in my workshop, but Jindosh finished some time ago. The rest is up to me, learning to use the machine. A tricky thing, touching the void through such a device.
Blood and biscuits. I look forward to using it myself once you're ready.
Will you visit soon?
Perhaps. Dunwall Tower is mostly in hand. The High Overseer won't be a problem anymore. And there's the matter of my own project. I grow more excited with each brushstroke. When I come to Karnaca, we'll drink an ocean of good wine and stay tight as a boiled owl.
I look forward to it.
For now, I need your eyes on the Duke. At least until we have the sisters under control. There's no one else I trust. I'll reach out to you again on the morrow. Farewell.
Goodbye, Delilah, my Empress.
The power of the witches and the power of Brianna all stem from Delilah. She has the ability to spread out parts of her power to her disciples, I suppose. This is the note that tells us about the bone charms that Brianna is using. One of them says that the rats and vermin will turn against us, and the other one is that the first projectile against her will turn into blood flies. So she's pretty protected. So we can take her on in combat, of course, but there's an easier way, and it involves these lenses.
These odd lenses might be linked to what Ashworth is working on.
These were the ones Jindosh made originally, and they were horribly flawed. And in fact, the spiritual channel linking her to Delilah's magic was nearly
If I can
ruined.
sabotage Ashworth's communion device, she'll be powerless.
That seems rather
It's
promising.
like Kieran Jindosh made these alternate lenses for Ashworth's device. Now I can use them to sabotage it.
I don't want to play this audiograph just yet. She will hear me, or at least one of her gravehounds will. There is a lot of stuff in the conservatory. We're going to, of course, go back here and pick up absolutely everything as soon as we've dealt with all the witches and everything. And in fact, the witches are actually quite easy to deal with this machine. A lot of them are around, and you can fight them. They are quite tough. They have the powers. They can teleport. They can shoot blood daggers or something, spikes. But if we put the lenses on the oraculum...
Handle of skin and bones representing one of the dunderheads from the oracular order.
Yes, I'd keep it in my chambers.
You've bizarre taste, my dear Clarissa. I wouldn't want to see myself like that. I'd rather have my portrait painted by Delilah.
There's a quality to Brianna's style I prefer. Touched by something from deep down in the mud, where there's no light. The endless womb and the cold, dead grave. Both the same.
But Brianna's effigies let her reach into the mind, into the heart. Wouldn't you be afraid she'd influence your dreams? Like she's going to do to the Sisters of the Abbey?
That's part of the thrill, sister.
As soon as the witches turn away, we're going to go down and tinker with this machine she intends to use.
feels damp, heavy. Could be a storm coming in.
They're everywhere in this place.
Of course, I gathered them at dawn.
Should be good now.
They're no good otherwise.
So this could be tampered with. Ashworth could be cut off from the void entirely. No more witchcraft.
The lenses are in place and looks like no witch is here to see me. She'll leave. She'll leave.
Oh well.
We're good.
All that's left to do is hit the switch, and Ashworth should be powerless.
What will I do now? I'm ruined. That feeling. The things I could do. The touch of the void. Delilah. It was everything I had. That's it. I'm done. That's it. I'm done.
Not only have we cut off our connection to the void, we've also knocked out every single witch in this entire place, making this a lot easier to navigate and loot of everything they have. Now, you can't knock out Brianna. She still has some power. Unless you do that. Trying to choke her out won't work, but if you do a drop assassination or slide assassination it works, and you really want to do that, because you get two really good bone charms, the ones she talked about in that note. So now we have that power. Some of the Gravehounds will fight for us, and the first bullet aimed at us will turn into a Bloodfly. Now let's have a chat with Delilah.
As if you could ever hide your face from me, Royal Protector. I see you there, back in the city that spawned you.
It's done. Brianna Ashworth is no longer a witch.
You villain! You don't even know what you've done. A great bloom wilts and fades from the world.
This is only the start. You've pissed all over everything, but you'll pay for it.
Oh, Brianna. I don't believe we will speak again. The thought of seeing you reduced to such a pale, sad thing. It's too much to bear. I hate you for this, Corvo Attano.
I wonder, if you didn't have hate, Delilah, what would you have?
Brianna's office has some more information we need to find still, like the old archives and the lenses and stuff. This gives us also the key.
Ashworth's journal might tell me more about why Delilah can't be killed.
And of course a letter to Delilah. They're quite connected, Brianna and Delilah. Very close. Aside from the painting, we can also find this thing here. Souvenir, I suppose. A broken whalebone sword. And the whalebone sword is stuff that Down and his whalers used, of course.
After Delilah fell to the assassin Dowd, her magic was lost, and the coven scattered. I made a new life in Karnaca. Then I heard her whispering from the void, leading me to the Duke, who heard those same whispers. Together we worked to bring Delilah back into the world, changing the Empire from the home of Aramis Stilton. 2 years ago, across the Isles, all of us who'd been with her at Rythian before, we felt the magic return. Others joined, new faces, new blood. Now, Delilah is immortal, forever. She holds Dunwall, and we've turned to corrupting the oracular order. The Overseers take guidance from their prophetic sisters, and soon we'll influence their dreams and visions.
We have our next target, but before we do that, there's some minor business to deal with. For one thing, let's clean up the streets a bit. And remember the little side mission that the black market dealer gave us? Well, it's up here, the first part of it.
You up for a beer, lady?
more bloodfly hunting. Too many now, I suspect. This area is also trapped, as you can see that he failed quite badly at that part. Dark vision lets us see all the little traps and we can easily disarm them and loot them. But we have plenty of bolts, so I'm not really going to get many of those. Once we get in here, we see that this is sort of the staging area the shopkeeper's associate was supposed to operate from. It's a healthy appetite, reverberation tubing, and more details on exactly what he was supposed to get. He was supposed to get the Roseboro prototype, which is in the Royal Conservatory. In there was also a rewire tool. Of course, we already have 5 of them, but if we didn't, that would be handy for what's coming up. With the witches taken out now, we can more easily and safely steal all the potatoes and lettuce, you know. And a bunch of sleep darts and tons of treasures, including runes. There's one. There's another. This one is not a witch. She was probably killed when they took over. Figs. I don't know if figs are any good. I don't think I've ever had any. Corvo certainly likes them though, especially with a healthy appetite run. Now this is the room we need to go to, but we don't have the key. But we have magic, so not really that much of a problem. And here is the Roseboro prototype. It is quite protected. You can break the window, or you can try to go in there and pick it up, but that will very much lock the place down and attract lots of enemies to you. Of course, we've pretty much taken out all the witches, so it wouldn't really be that much of a problem, but hey, we're keeping it quiet. It's kind of the style we're doing things. With the Roseboro prototype, we can deliver this to our friend, temporary friend, the black market guy.
Huh? Sorry, we're closed. All right, we're open, but please make it quick.
He seems a bit nervous.
Welcome back. I see you found the prototype.
Your acquaintance didn't make it.
It is a risky line of work, I'm afraid, but let's not dwell. I expect you'll be interested in payment. First your finder's fee, of course, and if you like, I can draw up some schematics based on the prototype, something you can use to modify your tools. And as a token of my appreciation, a discount at the shop.
A fair deal.
Some money, blueprint.
What a pleasant surprise to see you.
This is the first masterwork upgrade we can find. Both of them are for... well, one of them is technically for the Howling Bolt. The other one is for the crossbow itself.
See, I have some upgrade plans for your gear.
Masterwork requires you've upgraded a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, coffin nails is one option, and the other one is the dealer. Now, the dealer is really cool, but the problem is it doesn't work for sleep darts or anything. We have to go with regular bolts. We have a choice between being able to use howling bolts on witches or hounds.
No need to wrap it.
Witches is probably more useful. And in the chance of this one, since we don't exactly plan to use regular bolts to take out enemies, we might as well get semi-automatic firing for the crossbow. Other than that, nothing particularly exciting.
Visit again soon. And keep a close watch on your coin.
Good idea. Now this is what the new and improved semi-automatic firing crossbow looks like. Pretty cool, but not sure how useful it is. What we actually want to do is grab this wheel and, well, before we leave, you see that little wire, I guess you want to call it? We want to shoot the thing in the middle here. And then bring the crank wheel with us. Don't mind me.
I don't like your face, but I can...
No, that's fine.
We don't want
If you stay around long enough, they will get aggressive. But generally it's fine. With a wheel, we could turn this little gate to we open, and we find this little area. That is quite empty. There's not even any jellied eels. But what we do find here is a path to the black market, as you might recognize from the sign. This is the chain that we shot earlier. And we can come in through the back. That's our crossbow bolt from the first one we missed. Hey buddy, sorry about this. It's for the greater good. Don't worry. There's the safe combination for the bloodfly infested apartment thing. The rune's quite nice. We have enough rewire tools. Crossbow bolts, bullets, sleep darts, howling bolts, stinging bolts, incendiary bolts, grenades, stun mines, and spring racers. We are loaded. Oh, and be careful. Don't slash things, or that can happen. There was a sticky grenade in there, so you know, you want to take that out more carefully. It's fine though, we have enough elixirs, and grenades aren't that super useful for us. There's more stuff to loot, plenty of money in this place. And lots of money in the safe. There's also a painting in this room of Brianna herself, so make sure you don't miss that one. Here we go. Lots of money. Now there's a few more things, particularly this one you might want to take a look at. You remember how I said that Sokola was more like Jindarsh than he thought? Well, back in the time of the plague, he did some pretty bad things for, in theory, good reasons. He's still revered, but he can be pretty ruthless. He's definitely an it's justify the means kind of guy. How much are you willing to sacrifice? Well, some people sacrificed a lot, but at least we got the plague.
I remember how putting your hair up that way drove you mad. And how glad you were to take it down.
Either Delilah or Brianna didn't much like her.
I meant nothing to my fine family, beyond an advantageous marriage and years of childbearing. They promised me to a man 3 times my age who wheezed on about our wedding night. But a curious thing happened on the way to the altar, Delilah. From the first time I slipped out of the manor in the dead of night, there was no returning to my cage. Looking at the stars and drinking wine on a rooftop, I was free. Instead of seeing the overseers for marriage, I visited my father's banker and raced away from my old life toward Delilah. Those were the Coven's glory days.
And now they're over.
So it's done.
Ashworth won't be a problem anymore.
Good. But Corvo, there's something else. Back when I lived in Dunwall, I did things that I'm not proud of.
You live long enough, that happens.
Yeah. But what I did is worse than most. I knew Delilah and Ashworth. Bought into their bullshit, which led me down a bad road. To be honest, before all this, I thought Delilah dead. I don't want to get into it right now, but I felt like you should know. There are things I regret, Corvo.
Whatever happened in Dunwall was a long time ago, Megan.
I wish it felt like that. Seems like yesterday. Are you ready to leave now?
Yes, let's go. Take me back to the dreadful whale.
Another step toward the Duke of Serkonos and Delilah.